That is a catastrophic failure on Terrence's part yet again.
Well, hey, everybody, I'm Tim, and welcome to Cigars Daily Live, coming to you from sunny Phoenix, Arizona. And tonight, we kick off the show with a historical, monumental topic, something that's going to have you thinking for days, nay, I say, hours to come. Because cigars have got such a wonderful, rich history in this world. So tonight I wanted to take you guys on a journey through the past. They do say that if you do not learn from history, you are doomed to repeat it. And so tonight we're talking about unbelievable historical events that couldn't defeat cigars. And yes, I needed Terrence to put up the graphics so I could read it.
Yeah, I figured as much. It's a longer title. It's a longer title.
It's a bit of a mouthful. And so I want to take you guys through an amazing episode tonight. We've got some really great stuff planned for you. Of course, my name is Tim. I'm the host of this show, but all of you watching, you are the co-host. Your comments and your questions will drive this episode. We're looking for your input tonight. Drop your comments and questions down below. Of course, this show is like the most watched thing in cigars online. There's something like between 7 and 10,000 people that watch this episode every single week. Not this particular episode, but the episodes that we put out every week. And we are so honored and so privileged to do that. And so if you haven't done so, subscribe. But of course, I couldn't do all this by myself. I needed a team of the most top tier, amazing people to do this with. I'm going to start with third chair tonight. Okay?
Ooh.
Sitting third chair tonight over my left shoulder in the corner is Ryan, destroyer of Liga Privadas, 1990s dad. And
nobody puts baby in the corner.
Nobody put baby in the corner. He's looking good. Losing weight right now. How many?
Yes,
how
I'm
much
on the
weight?
journey. 16 pounds. So
16 pounds.
Well done.
And just so you know, you'll lose a lot of weight if people don't talk into the mic tonight, because I'm going to cut off one of your legs. So let's just make sure we're all talking
Instantly
right into the
lost.
microphones.
Yeah,
if I see one more comment about it, the thing is too far away and then I can't hear what they're saying, I'm gonna scream.
I'm gonna be so close. You're gonna hear the gurgling of my throat as I talk.
That's all I want. I just want to hear the
Gargle,
phlegm
gargle.
coming out of your mouth. If you belch, do it into the microphone. Because if we're just one more time, I see somebody talking and they look over here and reference something behind them, I'm gonna snap. But we've all done it. We've all done it. So I say that to myself as much as I say it to everyone else in the room. Thank you. I used you as the example, but only because I couldn't chew out the other guys. Before I show you behind the camera, I will say something about this. We strive here at Cigars Daily Live to bring you the best damn cigar content online every week. And when you speak, we listen. All right. Your input guides us on this journey through what we call life. And you guys have said to us, the backdrop behind the production crew, behind Billy and Terrence, it's a little bland. You guys need to spruce it up. You need to get this some like a nice studio set.
Yeah.
And
fancy
so,
like Ryan's.
It can't. Well, we wanted it to be nice and we wanted it to be true to form for Cigars Daily. And I think we wanted it to be sort of like in keeping with what we do here in the main portion of the studio. And so I give you for the first time ever camera 2, including Billy the Kid and El Rey del Terrence.
I can literally feel the heat from my mouth bouncing back onto my face.
Oh
yeah.
real good.
I'm kissing the mic right now. You guys can hear all my
Black says, OMG, OMG.
Yeah, we got
so
a
if you guys are gonna have some time to look at this, that blanket sounded a lot bigger online. I'm not gonna lie.
You're like 52. That's a lot.
52. That's a lot of inches right there. I mean, I know what 6 inches is, and that should pretty much fill it up. So 52 ought to be more than enough. Yeah, but you know what? Terrence had a really good idea before the show. He said we could just draw the rest of it on. So
yeah,
we did. If you're listening to the podcast right now, what you're looking at is a beautiful skyscape behind Billy and Terrence. It's definitely not a blanket that I bought off Amazon.
No. We're in Chicago right now.
It's a window.
Yeah, Chicago's right behind us.
Chicago,
Even though we're in Phoenix.
from Tess Keffer, Chicago. Well, I if I could show you, there's elements on this background of Chicago. We've also added, because this is the internet, it's about creativity.
Yes.
There's a little bit of Dubai in there, I think, right next to Godzilla. You can't see on the left the that weird shaped building from Seattle. What's it called?
The Space Needle.
Thank you. That thing. And I don't know what else. Yeah, we made it you know what we did? We made it diverse and inclusive.
Yes.
You're welcome,
We did.
everybody. All right. God, we've got a lot to talk about tonight. Drop your cigar comments and questions down below. And by the way, you guys didn't say it, but you're damn welcome for appeasing you with a backdrop behind the production crew.
Hey, that's 2 weeks in a row of new innovations. We got
That's
boom
new,
mics,
yeah.
and then we got the backdrop.
Wait,
Like,
how are you going to top this for next week?
Ooh, that's always the hardest part.
I don't know.
You have
I
to
don't know.
then, now that we're at the top of the hill, you know what I'm going to say, Tim? We have to beat
no, you
ourselves.
We can't say that on the internet, right?
Okay.
We can't. Terrence and I have it's a monologue, and we'll
Yes.
have to say it in Cigars Daily Plus during the after party. So yeah, I want to get to comments pretty much as quick as we can, but just so you guys know, tonight we are talking about cigars that have stood the test of time, that have fought through incredible historical events, and we're going to go through the events associated with those. What are the things cigars have exactly survived through? Like, and if you're watching this, I think the common heartbeat of all people right now is like, I'm just tired of living through historic events. I'd love for all the events to be non-historic for a
I want
couple
the
of
next 30 years to
Yeah,
just be
yeah, the
not
next-
in history books for any reason whatsoever.
That's exactly right. The next few decades could just be not even written about, and it would be fine with us. But tonight we're going to talk about some bone-chilling, scary ones. And of course, you can learn more about the cigars that lived. The cigars who lived. No, that's all right. You had it right.
Okay. Ooh.
Close. The cigars who lived. See what I did there?
Yeah.
It's
I
like
like the backdrop of the
cigar.
cigars too. It's like it looks like the scene on T2 when they have the flash forward
Yeah.
and the whole city burns down.
Okay. All right. I was going for Walking Dead, but you didn't get it. So maybe I missed. Did I miss the mark?
I haven't seen Walking Dead in like a decade.
It's the one who lives. It's the new Walking Dead show that, you know what? Never mind. Doesn't matter.
Is this the
All right.
9th spinoff?
It's the 9th spinoff of the show, of which I am a big fan because I loved The Walking Dead, and I definitely did not get very tired of it in season like 8 or 9.
Oh, I quit in season 5.
Yeah, after Glenn died, it was pretty much all downhill.
Wait, Glenn dies?
Never mind. All right. Learn more about the cigars who lived on the community on Cigars Daily Plus. Some of the things we're going to be talking about tonight will pertain to these cigars, but amazing cigars. We're so glad that these cigars and the cigar makers are still around and still producing artwork for all of us to enjoy and create an experience for us to sink our teeth into. Now, I want to get some comments from the fine people. Billy, what's going on, man?
You asked me to notify you as soon as he was in.
Yeah.
Texas Taurus says, yeah, buddy. Yeah. I have a question, Texas Taurus. Just so everybody knows, Texas Taurus sent us this box, okay? And immediately, a couple of things about the box. He's really captured the heart of who we are here at Cigars Daily. There's an alien
Mhm.
in an alien spaceship. That's probably a reference to me because I'm big into aliens. On this side, there is a picture of the state of Texas.
That looks like it was grilled.
It looks like it was on the grill. This is a can of root beer.
Mhm.
And then on this side, really kind of off center is it looks like Texas flag, maybe. What's next to the root beer?
I think that's a laptop. Yeah.
Is that, that's a laptop. Okay. So that's a
Yeah.
laptop. The root beer spilling on the laptop. Very infamous. Here's my question. On one side, Texas Taurus, and he's going to need to put this down in the comments. You drew this chicken. Okay. Now everybody's observed the chicken. Then on another side, he drew this dinosaur right here. Now, you guys can all tell me what you think of what Texas Taurus did here, but I want you to convince me that he did not freehand this chicken, okay, which looks like my son had Benjamin Button and halved his age back to 5 years old and then drew it, okay? And then this dinosaur, which actually looks pretty damn good.
It looks really good.
Did Texas Taurus look up a tutorial on how to draw this damn dinosaur before he put it on the box? Chicken, obviously not a tutorial. Dinosaur, pretty convincingly, a YouTube tutorial was brought
He
up
Googled
on how to draw
Bronchiosaurus.
it. Texas Taurus had way too much time on his hands. There was cool stuff in this box, by the way. I'm glad.
Yes.
And by the way, not way too much time. There's outlines for all of these things. This looks like something that you could have done in about, 7 minutes. I mean, including the amount of time that he spent watching this tutorial on how to draw a dinosaur, maybe more like 15 minutes. But we're very proud of it. All right.
Thank you, Texas Taurus.
Thank you, Texas Taurus. And for everything that was in that box, we are highly grateful. And we mock you with all due respect. But also really want to know whether or not you watch the YouTube tutorial on how to make a dinosaur. What's going on in the comments, Billy?
All right, we're going down. We're going to go down a rabbit hole.
Take me down the
To
rabbit
start it off, we're going to do this one.
Scott Walt, Matt Booth is an odd duck.
Fact.
Yeah, Matt Booth is an odd duck, and it's good for me to have guys like Matt Booth come by the Cigars Daily HQ, because not only is he a great cigar maker, but what we do here is so unique. It's not like when he goes to a cigar shop and then does an event for those people. He comes here and we spend 2 hours making content and BSing together. I think it's a great use of his time.
Jumping in dumpsters.
Jumping in dumpsters,
He wouldn't do
Scraping
that at
off
a
his
normal
foot
shop.
corns.
which, by the
But-
way, that was my idea. And when I said the dumpster, like in the dumpster was already out of his mouth before I recommend. I said, maybe we go over to the dumpster. He said, oh, I could be in the dumpster. And I was like, that's what I was counting on.
Matt
Oh,
Booth
yeah.
is drawing some hate.
Uh-oh.
Who's hating on Matt Booth?
Wait, sorry, wrong comment. Here we go.
Sorry, Anthony.
We'll
but-
come back to you,
but
Anthony.
suck it. Thomas Alexander. Tim, I saw some Instagram comments criticizing you for smoking in the humidor of your video with Matt Booth. What are your thoughts on that? I was hoping that someone would ask about this, and I, damn it, have been just thinking really hard about whether or not to make a video response to this. Because yes, I saw them too. I would love to share my thoughts with you. All right, so let me take you through this. There's two sides of this. The first one is responding to critics. The second one is what I think about smoking and humor. First of all, I see different types of criticisms out there.
Mhm.
If there's constructive criticism, I'm all about it. If there's just negative criticism, especially if it's malinformed criticism, and it's just like, I don't like that guy because people with big noses are stupid. That's a stupid criticism that doesn't make any sense. I tend to just want to ignore that and let it go, because engaging in it is the kind of insanity that doesn't build my knowledge or skill or learning, and it doesn't make that person any better, because no one's going to change their opinion. So I try to disengage from stupidity. I try to engage in criticism that's valuable. That's my goal. However, the not smoking in the humidor thing I've seen for a long time. There is this perception among some cigar smokers that smoking in the humidor is like a sin. And this is perpetuated by cigar shop owners who say, oh my, we're not going to smoke in the humidor because it's bad for the cigars. Now, the reason they started doing this is because they know that there is a tiny portion of cigar smokers who think that this is a reprehensible act. They won't do it. And I'll admit, if I had a wooden desktop humidor, I would not open it and blow large swaths, large plumes, or rings even of smoke into that humidor and close the lid. I wouldn't do it. It sounds like a bad idea, especially when you say it that way. And so, of course, if you were starting up a cigar shop, you'd be like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't smoke in the humidor here, man. But at the end of the day, here's what you need to know. In my mind, the don't smoke in the humidor thing is a bit of a myth. And here's why. There are different types of cigar shops all over America of every kind, shape, and form, with all kinds of different humidors. Before I had another social media platform, I worked for another cigar company. That cigar company doesn't even exist anymore, so I'll talk about them. They had a chain of brick and mortar shops that were literally retail places, spots in a strip mall, where when you open the front door, you walked into the lounge and humidor. It was all one space in about 900 square feet.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's arguably not the best way to do it when your exterior door opens into your humidor. That's a little questionable. But there were guys smoking in there around the cigars all day long, and it was never a problem there. Now, that's just one example, and maybe not even a good one, especially since the guy who owned that company is in prison for the rest of his life. But he's not in prison for having people smoking in the humidor.
Are you sure?
But he should be.
But he should be. That son of a bitch. No, what I really see is this. When you go to cigar factories, there aren't these sacred spaces where they're like, no, don't go smoke in the aging room. By God, Jove, there are cigars in there.
It's the holy of holies.
It's the holy of, and if the smoke touches the cigars, their faces will melt off, like at the end of Crusaders of the Lost Ark. They'll just be like, "Blah." I don't think that it works like that. I've been to a half a dozen cigar factories in America and in Nicaragua and in Honduras, and I never saw a holy space. And that includes where the pilones are. And I would expect you could smoke where the pilones are.
Yeah.
Because it already smells like cat piss in there.
Yep.
Because they're heating up the leaf to release the ammonia and get all
The smoke would be more like an incense
the
for it
smoke
anyway.
would definitely help. Where the bales are, okay, where the bales of leaf are, they
Mhm.
definitely smoke in those rooms. And they'll smoke in those rooms to test out different leaves and see if they're ready. So they're literally testing the leaf in there. They're also smoking in the aging rooms. If you guys remember, we literally rolled up in the How Cigars Are Made videos, we rolled up churritos and smoked them inside Placencia's room where they aged the leaf for 10 years before making the elite top shelf Alma Forte. So they're like, these sacred spaces don't exist in the place where people arguably know more about cigars than anywhere on the planet. And we've created that. There are a lot of things that are cigar, I want to say, points of cigar etiquette that are just made up. They're just totally made up by aficionados. Like, lighting a cigar with a match is the only way to light a cigar. A soft flame is the only way to light a cigar. You can't do this. You shouldn't do that. There's like very few things that are really that way. And like, you know, you can't smoke in the humidor is one of them. Now, that being said, I authentically don't like go smoke in the humidor here.
Yeah.
Like, I have no problem holding a lit cigar and walking through the humidor, or even stopping and having a conversation with someone in the humidor. If you visited me here at the Cigars Daily HQ, I may have brought a cigar into the humidor and had a 3 or 5 minute conversation with you.
Mhm.
It's like, it's not anything I worry about, but there's no like chairs in there. There's no seating in there. Like, I'll walk through. It's not a problem. I do the same thing at my house at home. I'll walk through with a lit cigar. My house, it's like done nothing negative to my house. So there you go. That's my full tutorial on smoking inside a humidor. If where you live, the shop is like, please don't smoke in the humidor. It's really bad for the cigars. You should absolutely humor them. You should absolutely be respectful of that rule. When I say humor them, I don't mean like pity them, like, you poor stupid idiot, dumb fart face. You don't know crap about it. You're not like that. Like, what you want to do is be like, here's a guy who's trying to do it as well as he can, and I respect that. And that's a good thing. But and Terrence, you even said you walk through your house with a cigar.
Every now and again, I try not to, just because my roommate doesn't like the smell very much. But yeah, every now and again, if I have a lit cigar from the drive home, I'll just walk straight to the patio.
His
and get it
roommate
taken
works
care
for the FDA, so it's a complicated living situation.
It's yeah.
Head of the FDA, so that's tough. They share a condo together. They split the rent. Okay, let's keep cruising. I want some more comments. I'm so glad that he asked about that. I know that tirade was way too long.
That was a long one.
I'm in a tirade mood tonight, so there might be some tirades on this episode.
Let's get
We'll get the 3 more comments.
Yeah, if you got to walk in humidor, you should be able to go and smoke in there. Give me another comment before I continue. Ugh. Now I'm going to make that video. Julie Flores says, if I send a backdrop of Chetek, Wisconsin, Chetek.
Yes.
Chetek, Wisconsin, will you put it up? Yeah. Well,
easily.
As
I
long
think
as it's
so.
YouTube friendly.
Yeah, as long as we can put it up on YouTube.
Julie Ford is like, everyone's naked in Chetek,
Everyone's
Wisconsin.
naked. I don't know why Chetek sounds like a brand that REI sells, like a brand of sleeping bags. Like,
I was thinking like some
Tech sleeping bag, negative 50 degrees.
Ski boots.
More like Chetek. Like, is it a native name maybe?
well, it can't be, because if it is, then I've just been wildly inappropriate with it. So let's just pretend that that's not possible and move on with the show. What's the next comment? Yes, Julie, absolutely. If you want to email us, Julie, I'll send you the measurements. I legitimately measured the backdrop and was like, I think the camera can see this many inches. And then Chetek.
Still sounds like a sleeping bag.
It still sounds like a sleeping bag and a Native American thing. Ooh.
Can we get the history on that, please?
Yeah, somebody fact check that for me. Yeah, I really thought that was going to work. Let's get the next one. All right, this next comment right here is coming from
Adrian Gonzalez. What are we smoking tonight, fellas?
Well, if you want to know what we're smoking, you can learn more about these cigars on the community on Cigars Daily Plus. We'll take you through them right now. These cigars are the cigars who live. They've lived through all kinds of stuff. And there's over 25 different types of cigars if you go learn more. There's only 8 on here. So I am smoking the Aganorsa Signature Madura. which is I love Aganorsa's Maduros for whatever reason.
Yes.
The rare leaf Maduro, the signature Maduro, the Validacion Maduro. Like for whatever reason, they just slap for me. But I'm also way into Maduros right now. Ryan, what did you pick?
I got the Oscar Maderas Cicerone edition.
That's good about that.
Just because I like collaborations, and this was collaboration with a local artist there where they make the cigars, and they came out with like 4 different custom boxes with custom artwork on it, and it's a good overall cigar.
I don't want to say this because Oscar is literally making a cigar for us right now, but that was the weirdest project to me, but
Was it?
only because I don't understand art, like painted art. I like music. I like cigars. I like art. I guess I like more tangible art, but to sit and look at something and appreciate it, I've never done.
Yeah,
Well,
it's hard to do.
That's not true. There are things that I sit and look at and appreciate. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, arguably.
Your wife.
But it's never been a painting. Yes, that was all 3.
Nice.
And there's never been a painting really quite. So I thought that was a weird project. But people really seem to like the Cicerone. Is the cigar any good?
Yeah, the cigar is very good. It's a medium body. It's got some cedar nutty.
Did you
notes
get?
to
Yeah, I was
it,
gonna say,
kinda
did you get the
creamy, kinda
nuttiness,
creamy.
the leathery kind of flavor and
Yeah.
notes out of it? Yeah.
Yeah,
Leathery,
A little bit of
nutty.
cocoa, maybe.
That's some of the things my wife likes to sit and look at. What's up, Billy? What's yours? Don't worry, the wrench isn't even here right now. My son's probably not watching. What's Billy? What are you doing?
I've got the Gurkha 18-year reserve.
All right.
Yes. Yes.
So it ain't Christmas and Terrence ain't drunk.
So go ahead,
Uh,
talk about it.
We're gonna talk about totally
You
safe. Gurkha's in the clear. What? So as a not a big Gurkha guy, Billy, being that you've never smoked a Gurkha on the show before, have you ever smoked a Gurkha before this?
I take that back. When we did the rare
Mm.
episode, I smoked
Oh, you smoked that $100 Gurkha.
triad.
You smoked the Triad.
Yeah.
What do you think about this cigar?
Is this a safe place?
Yeah, it's live on the internet, so it is the most intimate, discreet of safe
Perfect.
places that there are.
I would say this has amazing flavor.
Mhm.
I cannot keep it lit.
Oh. Is it squishy or anywhere? Like, does it feel underfilled or does? Oh.
That sucks, dude.
I think I'm gonna have to ram a. Do you have a
Ramrod?
ramrod thing?
Yeah, I do. I have no idea where it is. No joke. There was a draw poker on the floor somewhere today.
That's bizarre.
I don't remember where it was, but Billy, there's one in the top drawer of my desk. I'll do comments while you go get it. It's in the top drawer of my desk in that little black tray. There will be a draw poker in there. I know because when I need it, I use it. All right. I'm going to grab some more comments from the fine people. These
Yes,
are not the
yes.
one Billy has starred to look at. And here we go. All right. Kenneth Cap says, I smoked the 18-year too and don't like them, but this one is a hitter. So Gurkha can be a hit or miss. Although Heinrich Berthold says Gurkha puke, man. Oh, no. Yeah, Gurkha definitely takes it in both ends. And when I say that, I mean criticism, nothing else.
All
right.
Chinese finger trap.
Christopher Atnil says, what's everyone's favorite cigar to pair with a cup of coffee? I'm going to start with Terrence Del Rey del Mundo del Terrence.
Goodness. I will say right now, as the cigar nerd, I will definitely say the Espinosa Sumatra. It's just a really creamy, nutty cigar. Goes great with coffee. And then as the caffeine rises, once you get through the cup, the flavors and the strength start ramping up as well. That just pairs the entire way with a good cup of coffee. So that right now is my favorite pairing cigar with coffee.
For me, it's typically a Connecticut. If I'm getting a cup of coffee and it's in the morning, I've gravitated way more toward, like, in the morning, it's got to be lighter, and then in the afternoon, it's got to be bolder. There was a period of time where I would only smoke mild cigars all day long, and then I sort of skipped over the medium-bodied cigars and went straight to the bold stuff. And for like a year, I would come in here and smoke only the strongest cigars all day long. And then I realized I was really wearing out my palate. Like I just felt like I couldn't taste as much as I wanted to. So then I sort of shifted to smoking milder stuff in the morning, medium stuff in the middle of the day, and dark stuff at night. And that's where I am now. I think that might be, I might be a fully evolved Pokemon at this point. Like, I
Okay.
feel like, you know, Timidon. Yeah. It's Timidon, Evo. What do they call them? The Evo
Mega
cards?
Evolution.
Mega Evolution. Thank you. Yeah, that's what it is. All right. That would be a great episode. Leroy says, Tim, what size t-shirt do you wear, Tim? I gotta send you something I think you like. I'm a large. I wear a large t-shirt. Are you talking about for me to wear over my body or over my ego? Okay. James Pratt trying to get me says dinosaurs never existed. That's the most ridiculous thing you've ever said, James. Why are you trying to come on my show and start that stuff over here?
Hey, you
Listen
said you're
to
in
me.
a tirade mood. Get for
Listen
it.
to
Go
me,
for
dude.
it. Yeah.
Listen to me. That is obscene. Okay. Something that is so obviously and provably wrong. And just because this is a show about cigars, I'm not even going to dignify that with an answer except this one. They started digging up dinosaur bones in like the 1700s.
Is
The
that
seven-
long? Oh,
The
okay.
1700s, when we first dug up a bone that we were like, what in the hell did that belong to? And those bones were apparently, according to you conspiracy theorists, nut jobs, you flat earthers out there, those bones were so convincingly bone-like that they still pass Dr. Bone tests today.
Dr. Bone.
Dr.
Dr.
Bone.
Bones.
Hey, everybody.
I love
I'm
that show on Fox.
Dr. Bone, I'm here to test your bones. I'm like, uh-oh, I downloaded the wrong documentary on dinosaur bones.
Oh, man. Oh, no.
All right, well, I'll just watch it anyway, I guess. All right, I want to keep going. There's so many here, Billy. I'm having fun. I'm just going to put up whatever comments I want. Tess Keffer says, yes, I would agree. Espinosa Sumatra with coffee. I'm 100% about that.
Yes.
Ben Strongi says aliens were the meteor. Wait, aliens were the meteor that killed all the dinosaurs. And do you know why? They needed the dinosaurs out of the way so that they could genetically mutate Neanderthals into human beings to have a slave labor force to build the pyramids. Okay.
Makes sense.
Let's
Finally, somebody who gets
Sounds about right.
I watched the alien documentary with the kids
Uh-huh.
over the weekend. Is this alien came and it hunted humans, and a special ops team happened to be down in
what was it, the Congo or something
South
like
America.
South America. Yep.
Yeah.
This sounds like a great concept for a movie. Was
that?
the alien
Wait.
just
Does
like
the
a
alien
regular
take
guy?
his
Did he
mask
just-
off? In the
Did he see everything in black and white, or did he have
The
like
alien kind of had similar hair to Terrence.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
dude. If I was making an alien, he'd look like Terrence. He'd have Terrence's hair. All right. Sounds like a great movie.
Did the alien take
I-
off his mask and then the guy called him ugly or something like that?
Did.
Okay.
That would be a perfect scene to put in that movie too.
I had to have the mute button ready on a few.
Uh-huh.
I turned it into like a PG-13 movie for them.
Okay.
That's
okay.
So they watch
Documentary.
8 minutes of it?
I've been known to fast forward after some booby scenes so that my son can watch movies that I love with me. yeah, I've been known to do that as well. Like, all right, son, cover your eyes. All right, I'm taking one more. Gerald, is 69% humidity okay? Okay is exactly what it is. When it comes to humidity, use your best judgment and get your collection right where you want it. The range of humidity is going to exist anywhere from like, I don't know, I call it the low 60s. People typically say 65 to 72%. Really, it's like the low 60s up to, I would say 72% is kind of the ceiling of healthy humidity. So 69% it's totally within the reasonable range. I prefer 65%. That being said, if the cigars coming out of your humidor at 69% are something you love, then yes, it's okay.
Mhm.
Everything you do is okay. All right, let's keep cruising. I got more. Billy, I'm just going to do this. Aether. Wait, were there humans and dinosaurs at the same time? Well, yeah. I mean, if you read the Bible, God, 6 days. Okay,
That's my favorite answer to it. Yes.
it's in the Bible. Okay, and then there was a flood that killed the dinosaurs and not the other animals. Let's get this down. By the way, I am a biblically trained pastor from a Bible college. So when I say these things, you know you can trust them. Scott, well, oops.
Oh, sorry.
I'm going to take Scott's. We'll go back to yours. Tim, too much time with Matt Booth. I don't think I've come off of what Matt Booth and I took together. I think it's probably the problem.
Or he slipped you.
Yeah, he slipped it into my open mouth. All right, Billy, you take back over on comments. I'm just excited. I want to get to as many of them as I can. Chris R says, Billy not talking into the mic. Get stabbing, Tim.
Do you want your
I can't
draw
take
poker?
out if I take out a weapon, they'll
my
cancel
bad,
us.
my bad, my
Yeah,
bad.
don't.
Ooh,
We're not gonna
ooh.
hurt anybody here just because Billy didn't talk into the microphone. We just know where his kids go to school.
Whoa!
YouTube's like, I'll allow it.
I'll allow it. He's gonna turn on Predator next time, and the Predator's gonna be the porno version, and he's gonna be like, "Oh no, fast forward, sorry kids, I'm sorry, I just wanted to show you Predator versus Alien. That's an ugly alien." Rum-soaked pirate says, "Are the cactus wrens coming back, or are they forever gone?" Let's talk about Blackbird for a moment. Of course, you guys can learn about a bunch of different cigars right now. These are the cigars who live. And these are blends that have survived, brands, I should say, as well, that have survived some incredible stuff in the cigar industry, things that you absolutely are about to learn about in a second. Learn more about those on Cigars Daily Plus. Blackbird ain't on there, but they definitely have survived one of these big events I'm going to be bringing up. The Cactus Wren is a cigar they made exclusively for the Cigars Daily Nation. Now, when Jonas made the Cactus Wren, the understanding was that this would be exclusive for the Cigars Daily Nation for a time. And then eventually it would be a nationwide cigar. That being said, it will be back. It will be available out there in the wild all over the place. But also, he's going to make, once again, just for the Cigars Daily Nation, a special edition version of that cigar that will be a box pressed
Oh my gosh.
Cactus Wren that will be only for the Cigars Daily Nation forever. So we're doing that this year as well. So expect the Cactus Wren to be back, bigger, better, badder, and
Boxier.
fly higher, boxier than ever. All right, Cactus Wren. Give me another one, and then we have to keep cruising because I got 2 pick of the weeks and a segment to do. And I have to pull up my drive for segment. Drive. Billy, will you read this comment to me, or should I do a voice for it?
Well,
Nicholas Paschal. Question. How is the best way to cut a torpedo box press without a cutter?
Tirade Tim tonight.
I don't have a tirade for this one.
Really? Okay.
If you have, listen, I wouldn't cut a torpedo cigar without a cutter. With a knife, I mean, here's the problem with the torpedo, and I happen to have one right in front of me. Literally, my selection of cigars for the show, I said I picked out the Aggie Norseman for the show, and I feel like I got to come clean. Terrence picked out all these cigars for me. With a torpedo, I guess you could try to break off the cap. I've never done it before because it sounds like a terrible idea.
It is.
I will only cut a torpedo with a cutter or with a knife. Even if you try to punch into the side, you got to know that, like, I've seen people do this. They'll punch one side of a torpedo and they'll punch the other side of the torpedo. You don't want to do that because you're not going to get good draw. Because if you think about the structure of the filler leaves of a cigar, they're like a bunch of little tobacco tubes or spirals or folded tobacco in there.
Mhm.
If you punch into the side of them without punching all the way through, you're not going to create good draw. You're just going to punch into some of that. So you kind of want to cut the cap off the cigar.
Could you Clint Eastwood bite it?
No, it's going to be the same as breaking it off. You're going to get a bunch of tobacco in the mouth.
Your mouth is going to be full of leaf. You could really destroy the cigar. I don't recommend that at all. Nope. Use a cutter, use a knife, chop it like a paring knife. Now that we're not threatening Billy's lives or children, I'll do this. You can use a knife and cut it off if you need to. If you don't have a cutter around, that's what I would be doing. And nobody should ever be caught without a blade. I believe that every person who has the freedom to live a good life should have a blade with them all the time. All right. We're going to keep getting to your cigar comments and questions. But tonight, we have to do a segment we like to do every week on this show called the Cigars Daily Nation Pick of the Week. And as an added bonus, I have 2 pick of the weeks this week.
Yay.
Ooh, picks of the week.
The first one I want to say, if there's one thing I appreciate about cigar people, is that we are, by and large, not all of us, but by and large, we're dog people. So the first pick of the week this week comes from the Cigars Daily Nation Facebook group. It's from Turo A.
Oh.
He says, "This dude swears he only smokes Cubans." And I picked this picture, and I want to say this, Turo, if you're watching right now, before I do, it looks like you have a very sweet, very old golden Labrador. It's a golden lab. He's basically the same color as a polar bear, if you're listening on the podcast. Now, that dog also looks like he just smoked a bunch of peyote. And like his eyes are super big circles around him and they're kind of drooping. And he has the toy cigar, dog toy cigar sticking out of his mouth. So he kind of does. To me, I didn't see this dude swears he only smokes Cubans because that's a stuck up guy. I see the 1970s Woodstock hippie coming out of a 20-year acid trip and saying, all right, I'll give this cigar thing a try. What do you guys see?
Would you tell him he doesn't smoke Cubans, though? Would you break it to him? Break it to his little puppy face?
No, I could never.
Yeah,
Not
I
to a
could
dog.
never.
To any guy, I'd be like, dude, that's not a real Cuban. To that dog, I'd pat him on the head and I'd be like, good boy.
You enjoy that Cuban.
You're a good
Yeah.
boy. Yeah, you smoke. That's a real Cuban, you. Yeah, that's right.
Who likes a good Cuban?
Who likes a good real Cuban cigar? It's you. You do, you good boy. All right. That's the first picture. His dog looks like Tim.
You know what?
Can you reenact that for us, Tim?
All right, let me see if I can do this. I want this screenshotted in the group, guys, before the show is over tonight.
You got to have your head down a little bit. I see it. You look like my Matt Booth impersonation.
Your shirt is actually the exact same color of the dog.
Gosh. Tim is doing his best to look sleepy and old.
Okay. That's the first pick of the week. Grab some comments about the dog, Billy.
Oops, sorry.
Oh, don't put that up.
Yeah, yeah.
Uncanny, says Dylan. Thank you, Dylan. I appreciate it. Yes, there's one thing I can do. It's look like a doped up mutt. Frankie P says that cigar looks more like a Cuban than the Cubans going around. Looks more real than the Cubans going around. That's funny. I like that a lot. What else do we know? I'm like way
This
behind
guy
on
just
comments.
likes to watch the world burn.
Jams Fam says I would.
He would let the dog know that it was a fake Cuban.
Oh wow, dude.
He must be a cat person.
Dude, you Jams Farm, you're a Bond villain, bro. That's Bond villain level stuff. That's something you tell a dog before you set the contraption to kill James Bond and walk out of the room so you can escape.
As you're petting your bald cat.
All right. There we go. George Y says Tim and Hooch. And Henry says, can't tell who's who now. All right. That's the first pick of the week. You can take that one down. Also, before you bring this one up, Terrence, I just want to give some accolades right here. You know, a lot of you who watch this show are members of our Facebook community, the Cigars Daily Nation, which is now over 40,000 members strong, which is amazing considering the fact that apparently it's impossible to get into because we get emails almost every week from people who are like, I can't get into the Facebook group. That being said, I got some people in there that are very special to me. And some of these guys go way back to the very early days of the Facebook group, which, by the way, it's one of the largest Facebook groups for cigars that there is. There's only one other one that's the same size or bigger that I'm aware of, which I feel like is a really big accomplishment. And some of these guys moderate the content in the group. And one of them is my good buddy, Austin, who's been in the group since like the beginning or damn near the beginning of the Cigars Daily Nation Facebook group. And this week he got to go and meet like a champ, like one of the true heroes of the cigar industry. So I wanted to share that with you. That's I'm wearing the same shirt too. He's in here today.
That was today, wasn't
All
it?
right.
Oh, you were the champ. My bad.
I was supposed to be the champ in this, and I'm the hero of this. All right, you know what? Never mind. Austin A says, a little over 6 years ago, Tim created Cigars Daily and the Facebook group. I offered to help kick off the moderating and help the page grow. Finally, I made it to the shop and got the full tour, smoked a cigar, met Jim, and had great conversations. Long overdue. Thanks, Tim. And thank you, Austin, for being such a valuable part of what we do and have done in the Cigars Daily Nation Facebook group. Also, if you're in the Facebook group and there's moderators and you hate them because they delete your posts, this guy.
It's one of them.
The champ.
It's him.
You're
Not
pointing
us.
at the champ.
It's him. It's him. It's not me. It's him. All right. He honestly, he doesn't do that much moderating anymore. He's got a lot going on in his life, but he's one of the good ones. I really like him a lot.
He's one of the OGs.
He's one of the OGs. All right. We're going to continue on. Yeah. Who here smokes in their car from Gerald? All right. There's an off the wall question, Gerald. Let's jump into what Gerald wants to talk about. Billy, you start.
I didn't even put that up. Did you put that up?
I'm pretty sure I put it up
I think
accidentally.
you did.
But I'm still want to have an attitude with him. How about it? He's asking it on his question, and we did say drop your cigar comments and questions
true.
down below.
Yes.
Let's talk about what you want to talk about, Gerald. Go ahead.
I don't set out to do it, but if I'm leaving the HQ, and I still have one burning, I'll finish it on the way home.
Okay.
So not frequently, but occasionally.
Occasionally.
You don't shy away from doing it.
No.
That sounds like you're doing what works for you, which I like better than the absolute rule of like, I absolutely do not smoke in my car. All right. What's next, Terrence?
Oh yeah,
Of course,
most
course you
definitely,
do.
most definitely.
Most
I
definitely.
I had it for like 3 years, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll never smoke in it. And I was like, wait, I want to pay this thing off. It's gonna be mine. I don't care. And then I actually went up to Lake Havasu the other day, and I smoked 4 cigars on the way up there, just working on my gas economy, just doing crazy things. And yeah, no, I totally smoke in my car. I don't care. It's part of my life now. I
Yep.
live it.
Yep. Ryan,
I don't, but that's just because I don't care for smoking while I'm driving.
Yeah, I don't
Too
like
much going on. Every once in a while, I get that big ash that likes to fly back
you
in.
drive
on
a 6-speed, right?
That makes it a little harder too.
It does make it a little harder. You don't have 2 free hands. I get it. I get it. And it's a really nice 6-speed. I got a new truck a couple years ago, and the first thing I did was light up a cigar in that truck after starting the ignition. And that is a standard for me. Now, I don't smoke it at home. I don't smoke inside my house. I smoke on the back patio. But I also spend 60 plus hours a week in a cigar shop, so I really shouldn't need to. But yeah, smoking in my vehicle, I think that smoking in your vehicle is one of those like special things. Like to me, if I'm driving in my truck on a day when the weather's beautiful and the windows are down and I'm smoking a cigar and jamming some tunes or listening to something really thought-provoking, that's it. That's one of the best things that there is for me. Eric P says it's biblical. Yeah, it's in the Bible.
It's in the Bible.
You
Yeah.
have to smoke in your car. All right. Billy, keep getting us a few more comments, and then we're going to dive into cigars who live stood the test of time. Did you put one up? I'm trying to get to this document.
I'll read this one.
Go for it, Billy.
This is from Original Jimbo.
Oh hey,
Can we
Is
just
that
say-
supposed to be a voice?
No.
You know, I do them with voices.
I can't do voice.
I think the
Do
people
a
like
voice.
when I
I
do
speak
it.
quiet.
Nobody
enough.
said
do
that
a voice, Billy.
Nobody said you can't do it with a voice. Now, I really would like you to do it with a voice, and I'm asking you to because I know that it embarrasses you. I know that right now.
Look, he's getting red. He's getting
turning
red. He's
bright
getting
red.
red.
Let me ask you a question, Billy.
Yeah.
What does Original Jimbo sound like?
Come on, look at him. He's getting
It's
red.
so red right now. Yep, give it to me.
Yeah.
Douchebags all right. Can we just say, I can't stop thinking you just left Cigar Court in that shirt. Hard to not take you seriously tonight.
Yes, dude. Thank you so much. Billy did it.
Woo!
Yes.
Yay, Billy.
All right. Golf clap for that one. It was a good effort.
Round of applause.
Thank you, Billy.
But you do look like you just left Cigar Court.
When I leave Cigar Court, I'm typically wearing a sachet that says victory.
Oh, I thought mine says victim for some reason. Did you use yours from Amazon? I think I got mine from
No,
Temu.
ours came in a set, and I gave you the other one.
Oh, okay.
Victory and victim. That's how they come. So you got to.
Yeah, they come in sets of two.
Uh,
You have to
no, I
have one
didn't-
to have the other.
I didn't go to Cigar Court today. Legitimately, hold on a second. You're gonna yell at me for getting away from the mic. Check it out here. I got the slacks. I even got the wingtip. Nice shoes on. Wearing some nice clothes today because it is. I do like to class it up here at the shop, and this is really weird. As a guy who does cigars and social media for a living, I understand that it is important for influencers to like have a brand that is their thing. Like they have one style of clothes that they wear, or they come out with a line of clothes that's too expensive that no one's ever really going to buy, but they wear those clothes for sure. Or they just dress a certain way. And I don't have that. Like I dress up some days. I like to be dressed up, and Terrence does it. Ryan does it. These guys look well when they come in. Very professional. And some days I wear a t-shirt and jeans. I don't know. Today was Monday. It was a long day. And I said, I should dress up today.
It makes you feel good and then getting through all the tasks.
We're damn straight it does.
Now I'm just thinking about Cigar Court and how it would
Yeah.
be so much better than Judge Judy. Of
Yeah.
like a cigar shop owner brings a patron in for like stamping out a cigar
Okay.
For smoking in the humidor.
for smoking in the
Yeah, I think that.
The Honorable Judge Tim Swanson will be presiding over the court
And I don't.
case
Instead
today.
of a gavel, I have just a hand filled with tobacco, and I'm just hitting it on the desk. All right. I want to keep taking all of your cigar comments and questions, but I want to make sure that before we run late on time that I get you guys into this, the ultimate of ultimates. And these are unbelievable historic events that couldn't defeat cigars.
Mhm.
Thank you, Terrence. I had to
Of
read it
course.
again. All right. I am going to bring up a document here that I'm going to read while we do this. And I'm going to move it over here so that I can, if you put up comments, I'll be able to see them. Dude, I'm really trying to get rid of the ums and uhs, but I feel like I do them a lot. When I go back and watch the show, I say and uh. So
When I hear it myself do it, I cringe a lot when I do it.
it's cringe.
Yeah.
It is cringe.
Do you want me and Terrence to just be like, every time you
The
you
correct
know
way
what
to
had
do it-
happened was
The correct way to do it, if you're a Toastmasters person, is to sit in the back of the room with a metal Folgers coffee can and a fistful of rocks. And every time someone says or to throw one of those rocks into the can very loudly. That is the correct way to Oh wow, that's awful. I won't do it again. Don't worry about that.
I won't. I will not.
Cigars have gone through a lot, and they're not that old. I mean, cigars really just created, I should say, by Europeans who conquered America, the Americas. And that's what they did. We say we discovered them. They just took them. There, I did it. So these are things that cigars have gone through, and there have been a lot over the last, what has been about 600 years of cigar history. Cigars have gone through a lot, lots of different iterations and lots of different forms. But one thing that never ceases to amaze me is this spirit that lives in the cigar world, that is a spirit of survival that gets tested again and again by the world. And cigar makers always rise to the challenge and make it. They're just unkillable.
Mhm.
That's just who cigar people are. So right now, I want to take you through some historical moments and the ones that cigars have survived. And Terrence has some graphics to put up with this one. We're only going to cover the last basically 100 years.
Yeah.
Okay. There's 4 huge events that have gone on over the last 100 years through which each one of these cigars almost didn't make it. The first one, and this one shocked me, and by the way, scared the hell out of me, was the Great Depression. Now, before the Great Depression, Terrence, is there another picture there for before the Great Depression?
No, sir.
There isn't. There
I just
should
have
be.
1A on my side.
You do have 1A. Where is that picture? Why didn't it upload? All right, I'm uploading it now.
Yes, sir.
I want to show you guys a picture of an old school cigar factory. You see it there, Terrence, at the bottom?
I'm scrolling. I do not see. Survive one.
In
Yeah.
the late 1800s and the early 1900s, there were cigar factories, probably more cigar factories than there are today. And those cigar factories were filled with people who were, you can see them in this picture. They were pretty white. I mean, and you saw a lot of cigar factories in Virginia and all along the East Coast, because in the Connecticut River Valley, we grew copious amounts of black air cured tobacco for all kinds of stuff, including making premium cigars. There was this massively huge booming cigar industry right here in America. And at that point, we weren't even doing as much importing of cigars from Cuba as we were just making the cigars right here in the United States. I'm talking American tobacco farmers, American curing barns, and American cigar factories, sort of like the one that you see in this picture right here. And even over my shoulder, what you'll see right here on top of the barrel, you can take that down, Terrence. On top of the barrel, these are cigar boxes from the late 1800s, early 1900s. They're a little over 100 years old. They've got tax stamps on them because the cigars were taxed differently back then because they weren't imported. We pay taxes today on cigars when they get imported. Instead, they had to put tax stamps on the box, sort of similar to cigarettes, so that you couldn't put one cigar from one box into another. But then a historical event that almost wiped cigars out completely, and that was the Great Depression. Thank you. So here you can see, I mean, the Great Depression doesn't look that bad. These guys are all wearing suits and they're standing outside of a cigar shop. Back in this time, you could buy a premium cigar for 5 cents.
What does that convert to in today's money?
I didn't do that math, Terrence.
Okay,
I don't know.
Sorry.
But presumably it's not $12, which is what most cigars are.
It would have been 18 cents.
Yeah, exactly. Well, during the Great Depression, it almost completely wiped out the cigar industry. After that time, the industry almost didn't recover until after World War II. So, I mean, you're talking about through a good portion of the 1930s and 1940s, the cigar industry was basically dead in America. And then after the 1940s, things started to pick back up, but then tragedy struck once again. It was after that in around, let me see, would I write the date on here? I think it was like the 1950s when things started getting really nasty in Cuba, the country where a lot of cigars were being made. And at this point, we were starting to import a lot of cigars from Cuba. Do we have a Cuba picture there?
We have this guy.
Yeah, okay, that's the one. And Cuba basically declares communism. Now, when he did this, the U.S. President John F. Kennedy, he signed the Cuban trade embargo. This is one of the most defining moments in the cigar industry of all time. It's basically two periods of time in cigar history. There's before the Cuban trade embargo and after. In fact, I can't even tell you about brands from the Great Depression and from before the Cuban trade embargo because there almost aren't any. There's only one cigar brand that I'm aware of from before the Cuban trade embargo in America that still exists today, and that is United Cigars.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, it wasn't that one, Terrence. But then the Cuban trade embargo gets signed by JFK in order to fight, communism and the horrible things that were happening to people in Cuba. And during that time, you saw a lot of brands leave Cuba for the Dominican Republic and Nicaragua and Honduras. And some of those brands would have been ones like, now, Terrence,
Yes.
La Gloria Cubana and Partagas Cigars.
Mhm.
These are heritage brands that have absolutely stood the test of times, been around forever, but had to flee communism and now are absolutely booming businesses. But the really weird diversity here is that there's now a Cuban Partagas and a non-Cuban Partagas. Two companies that are not connected in any way, shape, or form. They're competitors in the international market, yet they bear exactly the same name. La Gloria Cubana would be another example of this. Other ones would be like Punch and Hoya de Monterrey and Cohiba. It's very fascinating. These brands completely split up. Romeo y Julieta would be another one.
H. Upman.
So these are two brands, and like the La Gloria Cubana Spanish press and the Partagas Cortado here, these two brands have been around for a long time. These two cigars are much newer within the last 5 years, but the brands have stood the test of time and survived their way through the Cuban trade embargo, where literally on the pain of death, cigar makers were handing over their factories, their fields, and their farms to the Cuban government and asking simply, please just let us leave. And when Castro said yes, they would literally stuff their pockets full of tobacco seeds and get out of the country with seeds enough to start a new crop. And that is how the heritage of these cigars continued. Now, the Cuban trade embargo is one that I think a lot of people know about, right?
Right, sure.
But at the same time, when they got to Nicaragua and got to Honduras, it didn't end their problems because there's always a lot of turmoil no matter where you go in the world. And a lot of companies started in Nicaragua. Only in the 1979, right around there is when the Sandinistas took over and the Nicaraguan Revolution. This one was absolutely a trip for me. I was reading about the Nicaraguan Revolution today and the Sandinistas because I've known for a long time that cigar makers, many of them were driven entirely out of Nicaragua by the Sandinistas. If you go far enough back in the world of cigars, you guys know there are Padron boxes that say made in Honduras.
Yes.
In Plasencia, a 5-generation cigar maker. Plasencia today makes about 40 million cigars a year and has factories in Nicaragua and Honduras. And there's a reason they have factories in two countries. Get this. This is from Wikipedia, so trust it as much as you trust Wikipedia. This is about the Sandinistas. After they took over in Nicaragua, it says that they instituted literacy programs, nationalism, land reform, and devoted a significant resources to healthcare.
Really?
Pretty awful guys, right?
Yeah, terrible.
Pretty terrible guys. I mean, it's like every People's Liberation Army of every country around the world. It's like at face value, you're like, People's Liberation? What are they, liberating people? That sounds wonderful. But they also came under international criticism for human rights abuses, including mass execution and oppression of indigenous people. And they were criticized for mismanaging the economy and overseeing runaway inflation.
Yes, babe.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, you know what they say about good intentions. So that happened, and now you can see today brands who have survived through that. And I mean, if you guys want to know, the Sandinistas and the Nicaraguan Revolution, this was a absolutely brutal time. But brands that have been around since then are ones like Hoya de Nicaragua, Plasencia cigars, and Padron have all survived and healthier and doing better today than they ever have been because they have the grit and determination to do it. All right, so you start out with the Great Depression. Almost wiped cigars out in America. Then you move on to the Cuban trade embargo. That's America almost wiping cigars out of America just through legislation and regulation and a trade embargo. And then Nicaragua almost wiped cigars out of America with the Sandinistas. And then finally, the most recent one is the one you guys will be most aware of. And now drop your cigar comments and questions because we're going to get right back to them. And that's more recent in 2016 when the FDA put down their deeming rule for premium cigars, where they tried to regulate premium cigars in similar fashion to what they've done with cigarettes, which they can do with cigarettes because cigarettes were a absolutely massive, many multiples of billions of dollars a year industry versus premium cigars that are like a few $1 billion, like all year long revenue in America. It's absolutely a small fraction of what big tobacco does in premium cigars. So they wanted to put these very, very expensive regulations on premium cigars that would have wiped the industry out, effectively removing from the industry any cigar that had not already been out before basically February of 2007. They were going to create a path for those cigars to exist, but that path never really seemed to materialize. And that went on from 2016 until about 2023 when a judge of a federal appeals court struck down the FDA's deeming rules. And that is why today the premium cigar industry is as vibrant and healthy as it has ever been. Cigar makers are creating new cigars every year, like the Aganorsa Signature Maduro, which has come out in the last few years. It's a rebranding what they've done on this one. And a lot of cigars that you see, like Perdomo's Vintage 12-year, Oscar 2012 Maduro, a beautiful Maduro box press, CAO Zocalo, which celebrates Mexican tobacco, or Sereno cigars with their Sereno Royale Maduro. And by the way, basically every damn brand that you guys see in the humidor would be wiped out if you couldn't release cigars that haven't been out before 2007. It's like 80+% of the cigars that are out there would be wiped out by a deeming rule like that. I'm always fascinated by this stuff because I love the cigar world. To me, it's a no-brainer. Like, premium cigars create community like what we're doing tonight. Even live while we're doing this show right now, there are about 600 of you watching across YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and Cigars Daily Plus, wherever you guys are watching. There's about 600 people watching this. Our show has a viewing audience of about 7,000 to 10,000 people who just love premium cigars and love doing them together. Some of you who watch this show, like Julie Flora and her husband, some of you do this as your date night. You guys get together and enjoy cigars as a community. So many things over time have threatened to wipe this out. But the one thing that you can count on is cigar people to be cigar people and do what they do and fight that good fight to maintain the quality and integrity of the art that they absolutely love. And so there you go. Those are them. The historical moments that couldn't defeat cigars. Damn it. I was so close.
You got mostly there.
Mostly. I got 95% of the way there. That's what she said. Billy, what's going on?
Dalton summed up your little rant.
Oh, what did he sum it up as? Dalton says, the government totally sucks. Thank you, Dalton. You're not wrong about that, dude.
I can agree to that, yeah.
The government does totally suck.
Should we go with that one?
We can go with that one. No, we'll keep going. I'm going to take a few more of these. Frankie P says, I'm going to cry. I'm going to cry.
You pulled out the heartstrings at the end.
Yeah, no, most definitely.
That's
Dude, my
one that,
cigar
like,
went out. I've really wanted to share this stuff for a while. And I am always, because I do this, I'm always looking for the next thing that's coming because there's always a thing. And it's like that scene in Men in Black. Okay. This is a really tear jerking way to explain this, but Men in Black, Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith are sitting by the river, and Will Smith is weighing out whether or not he's going to become a Men in Black, right? And Tommy Lee Jones looks at him and basically says, there's always something threatening to kill humanity. There's always a Perillian death ray or something like that. There's always something threatening to wipe out humanity as we know it. And that's the way that it feels working in the cigar industry. If it's not Dick Durbin putting up a bill to like cancel cigars everywhere, or they want to drop a new tax on us that would absolutely obliterate us, or just some new regulation or some new import procedure or something like that. There's just always something out there that's threatening to kill us. I got time for just one or two more comments, but I'll warn you right now, we are about to go to the after party on Cigars Daily Plus, where you can learn more about the cigars who lived. We've got over 25 different amazing cigars that have survived through a lot of these events, from brands that are time-tested and new brands, new blends, time-tested ones, and top-tier stuff. Go over there and learn about those cigars and what they have survived. And we're going to go over there for the after party in just a minute after Billy gets me a couple more top-tier premium comments.
I'm going to give you a quicker hit,
Mm.
a product question, and then I'm going to give you one to rant on.
Okay.
Oh, man, I like it. I'm feeling ranty. Ether says, does the Pistola lighter get hot by the trigger? So this is the Pistola lighter. I'm a big fan of it. No, it does not. Not even remotely. The flames pointed out this way. It's far away from the ignition trigger. Okay, we're going to call it an ignition trigger. So back here where I'm holding, and I'm intentionally holding it down to try to heat it up right now. Typically, when you have a lighter, if you hold it on for a long time, this should be enough time to like toast the cigar and get it well lit so that you're puffing off of it. After this much time, I would expect the metal here to be pretty well heated up. And even now, the metal is not heated up.
It has those vents on the
along
side that
the
makes
vents
it.
on the side vented out. Now, up here near the cap, nope, it's warm. It's still not super hot. No, it does not. The Pistola is great. This is a great lighter. That's why I put my logo on it. All right. What's the next one, Billy?
You ready to rant?
Oh, I'm
You're ready.
hot and bothered about it. Let me get some water so I can rant. Is there a comment coming?
Yes.
Oh, okay, good. Drew, hot take. Retrohaling as we know it is unnecessary and overkill. We don't force loads of air through our noses when we eat and taste food.
That
Oh,
you know
Drew.
of, Drew.
You've wandered into my trap, Drew.
Wait, were we not supposed to evil laugh right
that was
there?
on point. That was on point.
Oh, okay.
Take your turn.
Okay.
What the hell are you talking about, man? Are you on drugs right now, brother? You're absolutely wrong about that. The example that I give about how important retrohaling is that if you plug your nose, and take a bite out of an apple or an onion, flavor-wise, won't be able to really tell the difference, which is true. And if you want to go try it, go do it right now. Because an apple and an onion, they have similar texture.
Yes.
By the point. So much of your dude, this one is provably wrong in so many ways. Just Google the number of taste receptors in your mouth versus your nose. Just Google it for me. In fact, you know what? I'm going to do it on my own, because when I tell you to do something and I
think
don't
it's
do
something
it,
like what we got four different tastes on our tongues, and like the olfactory sensors could remember up to 100,000 different unique smells.
yeah.
Not even close.
The Science of Mouth and Nose from Dental One Associates of Virginia. That sounds trustworthy. All right, let's take it. No, I want a Google answer for this one. That looks like a long article.
Google doesn't pop up with this Gemini AI answer.
Not on this one. It didn't know.
Why didn't it pop up with the Gemini answer? Gosh, I'm going to have to this is a whole article. I don't want to read all this. Isn't this what you guys do when you see our headlines online?
Yeah.
You
I
see
want
a
a quick
headline and it's
answer.
like, this country invaded this other country. And then you go look for an article. You're like, I'm going to do the research. And then you see the article and you're like, oh my gosh,
I'm not.
Yeah,
gonna
if there's
do
too
this.
many
not
words
gonna do
bigger
that.
than 5 letters, I don't read it.
This is not a homework assignment. I'm not doing it.
there's words in here like foliate papylae and all kinds of stuff.
Mm-mm.
The average adult has 2,000 to 4,000 taste buds and taste hairs. Oh my gosh, that renew themselves once a week. Wow. I still maintain that most of your ability to smell, taste comes through your nasal cavities. And you're right. You don't blow a bunch of smoke air through your nose in order to taste things, but you do smell things. Like watch snobby wine snobs. They sniff the bouquet and then they taste the wine, because even snobby wine snobs know that this is true. Clearly, you're not as classed as we are, Drew. All right. Thank you for the rant. Guys, I want to encourage you to join us for the rest of this episode. We are going to head over to the community on Cigars Daily Plus for the after party. Joining us there is free and easy. It basically requires your name, a username, an email, and a password. That's just about it. You're in. You join us over there, and we're going to continue this episode without the parental guidance of our platform leaders like YouTube and Facebook and X. This is how we continue to keep Cigars Daily free and the best damn cigar content online for you. But we do it on our own servers, so it can take a minute to get in. But join us there for an amazing show. We're going to continue this there. Otherwise, stay tuned for another great episode next Monday night. This is Tim and the whole crew signing off for Cigars Daily. God, we hope to see you on the after party.
And live your lives.